everybody. I'm just getting set up here. I am live streaming in two places. I'm on my phone, on my TikTok account, and I'm on my MacBook Pro on YouTube. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Happy Friday, everybody. Love to know where you're coming in from. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Bernie. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Woe Glow. What do people call you? Good morning, Vintage. You just got a #1 badger, Michael. Thank you. Good morning, D. Riley. Where are you coming in from? Good morning, Renee. Love to know where you're coming in from. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live. Good morning, Lisa. If anybody else wants to like my live, whether you're on my TikTok account or my YouTube channel, I really appreciate that. That helps my accounts out. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Gary. Good morning, Michael. We've got two Michaels on here. Michael Farish, you just got a #1 badger. Michael Farish, you're from New York, and I have Michael, who's from, I believe it's Tom's River, New Jersey. There's two Michaels on. Yesterday, I had two Michaels on too. Good morning. If you're jumping on, happy Friday. Let me know where you're coming in from. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live again. Good morning, Emily. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I live on the East Coast of the United States. Good morning, Elia. Good morning, Crazy something. Is that what people call you? I'm on the East Coast of the United States. I'm on social media because I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. I've been doing this actually, it's 14 years in September. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Andy. I have not worked a job in 9 years. I don't need a job. I don't want a job. I started doing this after I lost my job. That was 14 years ago in August. I haven't looked back. I've had days in this industry where I've made more money in a day than I made in a whole month when I still work in a job. And I lost my job. I couldn't find another one. Good morning, Sunrise. It was the worst job market ever. People were getting like 1,500 resumes for one job. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Pat. Good morning, George. Good morning, Scotty. And people are literally getting 1,500 applications for one position. Couldn't find a job. I ended up broke, unemployed, in foreclosure. I was drowning in $250,000 of debt. I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this mess. And if I hadn't found this industry, I don't know that I've lost a lot of things, but I still have my house. And I've been able to, online, working from home and working a few hours a day, replace the income from the job I lost. Good morning, Goddess. Where are you coming in from? What do people call you? And I get people on these live streams, whether you're on my TikTok account or my YouTube channel, from all over the world. I get people on my social media accounts from all over the world. And I'm following a proven blueprint my mentor used. Good morning, Waka Baka. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. Good morning, Hyundai Quizon. I'm wondering if you're a car dealership. Good morning, the great drama. Good morning, Tommy. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. So I've been able to replace the income, and I'm following a proven blueprint that my mentor has used actually to make $8 million like in the last 3 years. It's a 2-hour blueprint. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live. Good morning, user 5816. And today I was going to talk about, now TikTok unfortunately let me turn this off, puts the mirror feature on, and when it's on, it's not working right. So good morning, Annette. Good morning, HD Forever. Good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Nitra. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I was going to talk today about, now I've been doing this successfully for 14 years now. I replaced the income from the job I lost. And I've actually had days in this industry where I've made more money in a single day than I made in a whole month when I was working a job. Good morning, Boo. Good morning, Miss Car 06. Where are you coming in from? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. So today I was going to talk about the 3 things you need to be successful online. And I know when I started this, I didn't know anybody. I literally went to Google. I searched make money online. I had no idea what I was doing. And the 3 things I'm going to talk about today, I did not have any of them. And I spent a year doing this and $3,000 in pay-per-click ads, and I didn't make any money. Good morning, Green with Kiate. Good morning, Jess. Where are you coming in from? If anybody else wants to like my life, Michael, thank you. You've been liking it. I know that. Appreciate it. If anybody else wants to like it, good morning, Chris. Good morning, George. So you do need, and I didn't, when I first started this, I did not have any of these three things. And if you don't have these and you're trying, because I do believe most of you are on social media, you're either looking for a way to make money from home or you've been trying and you're not getting the results you want. I spent a whole year, I didn't have these three things I'm going to share with you, and I didn't make any money as a result of that. I spent a year doing that and $3,000 in pay-per-click ads. Good morning, Deep. Good morning, Kay. So the first thing is you need a product that's in high demand. I'm not going to write all that out. You need a product. You need one that's in high demand and it solves a problem for people. If it's not in high demand, you're probably going to have a hard time getting anybody to buy anything. And the other thing is that it solves a problem for people. And the one I have, I'm making 100% profit. That's preferable, but depending on what you decide to do, you can be making less of a percentage with it. And I've been doing this for a long time. There's different business models. I talked about that another day. I've done all of them. Had some of my own products too, which if you've got your own products, you have to create them. You have to do customer service, but I was making 100% off of them. But you need a product. You want one that's in high demand and that it solves a problem for people. Because if it doesn't solve a problem, probably it's not going to be something a lot of people are going to be interested in. Good morning, Jay. If you're on my YouTube live, I can't see you. So if you don't comment, I can't shout you out. Good morning, Dina. Um, TikTok does show me that when people are coming on, I can see that. If anybody wants to like my video, if somebody likes the video, I can see that. Good morning, Jose. Or if you comment on YouTube, if you don't comment in the chat, I can't see you and I can't call you out. So the first thing is you need a product that's in high demand that solves a problem for people. The second thing is you need a system, and a proven system is better. I mean, if you're just picking a system or you try to make one yourself, especially if you try to make one yourself, you're probably not going to get what you want, but you need a proven system. You want to be sending, and I made this mistake too. I did not have this when I started. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live again. Good morning, 76Xer. Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Jose. If you don't have a system that you're sending people to, and I did this for a year and spent $3,000 in pay-per-click ads and didn't make any money. I was sending people to traffic that I was getting from the pay-per-click ads to a replicated website. You never want to do that. You want to send them to a system where you have a website. Good morning, user 1027. Good morning, Floyd. You want to send them to a system where there's a capture page, a website where you can get the person's email address, get them on your email list, and then you have a series of emails that are automatically attached to the website that are going out automatically on your behalf. That's where the automation comes in. Good morning, Judge. Good morning. Thanks again, Michael, for liking the live. Anybody else wants to like my live, whether you're on my TikTok account or you're on my YouTube channel. Good morning. Is it Alida? If I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I apologize. But you need to be sending people to a system. If you're not getting their email address, and getting them on your email list because you don't own your social media accounts. Good morning, Jessica. If you're not sending them, get to a place where you can capture their email list. It's a capture page, a website, a squeeze page, a landing page, and getting them on your email list. You've got a missing piece. Because if you're just sending them to a page with information, a sales page, a replicated website, or just a website with some information on it, you're not getting their email list. You only have one opportunity to talk to them. Good morning, JW, JL. What do people call you? If you're not doing that, then you only have one opportunity. Good morning, Carmen, to talk to them, and then they're gone. Most people, and especially if you're selling something, are not going to buy on first touch. Most people have to see something multiple times. Now, I do get some sales on first touch, but that's not what most people do. Good morning, Emmanuel. People have to see something at least 2 or 3 times, sometimes longer. And you want to send them to a capture page to get their email address, get them on your email list. Preferably, you want to give them something away for free. Now, I have a free PDF that outlines this blueprint I'm using. My website is, if you go to payudaily.com and put your email address in, it'll take you to a couple of videos. Watch this. You'll just get an email from me with a link in it that's got the PDF I'm giving away. You can click on that, download it, save it. It's yours to keep. Good morning, Marty. You preferably want to give them something away for free in exchange for their email list, their email address. You want to build your email list because you don't own your social media accounts. You can lose them at any time. I've had 10 TikTok accounts that I've lost. One of them I had over 200,000 followers. I stayed off of TikTok for quite a bit of time because I was so disgusted. And last June, and I lost more than just, I lost 10 TikTok accounts. I also lost 3 Instagram accounts. So last June, I started again. I started posting 3 videos on TikTok and the same 3 videos on Instagram. I just broke 100,000 followers on TikTok. I got monetized on TikTok. In fact, TikTok is paying me to do these live streams. Good morning, Nave Man. Where you're coming in from. Good morning, George. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Michael, thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate it. If anybody else wants, if you want to like my live stream, I'd really appreciate that. That helps my accounts out. But if you're not getting them in a system where you can keep talking to them, and preferably give them away something for free. You can do a PDF. Good morning, Jennifer. You can do an ebook. Or you could do like a free webinar training. Good morning, Kim. If you're promoting someone else's stuff and you don't have anything you can give away for free, you could ask them because it's preferable and you'll get more leads that way. If you're giving something away for free in exchange for their email address, good morning, Melody. You want to get them on your email list so you can keep talking to them. Your email list is the only thing online you truly own because you don't own your social media accounts. You can lose them at any time. Good morning, Pro Rava. Good morning, Paulina. You can lose them at any time. I had 10 TikTok accounts that I lost. Good morning, Melissa. I had 3 Instagram accounts I lost. Somebody hacked my main Instagram account, went shopping, ran ads, and then they deleted it. Thank you, Melissa, for liking the video. Good morning, Sam. You definitely want to get them on your email list. Build your email list. That's an asset. You own it. You control it. You don't own or control your social media accounts. Good morning, Mitch. Yeah, you want to use social media because you can get in front of over 5 billion people for free, whatever you're doing. And I believe most of you, you're on here. Good morning. Is it Mozo? If I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Good morning, Fab Tees. I've seen you on here my lives before. I believe you have your accounts about t-shirts or not. Let me know. But if you're not doing that, yeah, you want to use social media. You can get a ton of exposure for free. In fact, there's over 5 billion people on social media. But you don't own or control your social media accounts. You can lose them at any time. I've lost, and I also had a Facebook group. I had over 60,000 people. Facebook deleted it. So if you're not sending them to a system where you can get their email address and preferably giving them away something for free in exchange for their email list, you've got a missing piece in this. And you might not know how to set it up. You do need an autoresponder to build an email list. Most of them you can start for free. Like the one I use, you can get up to 2,000 subscribers and use it for free. After that, they start charging you. It is an asset. It's the only thing online you really own. And you may have heard the money's in the list. That's true. So if you're not doing that and you're just sending them to a page with information, you've got a missing piece. Good morning, Datok. Good morning, GM. Where are you coming in from? Thank you for liking the live. Melissa, thank you for liking the live. Michael, thank you for liking it. Because Michael's liked this how many times? But you want to send people. That's the second thing. You need to be sending people to a system. I've had somebody that's gotten on my live that she's got a nonprofit that supports women who've been victims of domestic violence, and she's using social media to get exposure for that and get the message out. Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Curly Girl. Good morning, Jose. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. The third thing is you need a discovery method. And let me put this down on here. What I mean by a discovery method is a way to get exposure to what you're doing. I'm using social media for free and having a piece of having a system, because if you don't have that, you're missing out. But I'm using social media, and there's over 5 billion people that you can get exposure to every day that are on social media. You can use it for free. If you want to do paid advertising, you can. Good morning, Rod. Good morning, Sunny Rose. Good morning, Debbie. You can do paid advertising, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can spend a lot of money and not get any return on it. And you can use social media for free, but you need to learn how to use it correctly. And that's why. And I spent a whole year. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have training. Good morning, Bob. And I spent a whole year and $3,000 on pay-per-click ads and didn't make any money. So you need a mentor and the system. And the fourth thing I'm going to put, or actually, I'm going to add and make four on this. You need a mentor. And if you join a program, I didn't have any of these. I said three, but actually, I'm giving you four. If you don't have a mentor or somebody, good morning, Carl. Good morning, Roxy. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Thank you, GM, for liking the live. If you don't have these, it gets really hard um, to try to make any money, kind of money online. A lot of people, and I when I didn't know any better, I didn't know anybody. Somehow I knew people were making money on the internet. I think it was God telling me that, and literally went to Google. I didn't have anybody to ask. I didn't have a training. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have any of these things. I didn't have a system and now I have a proven system. And if you're missing any of these, you're missing out. You have a piece of this that you don't have. It's missing, and you're probably not going to get the results that you want. Good morning, Michelle. Thanks for jumping on. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Heart Dude. Good morning, 90s. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. But if you don't have any of these, you've got a missing piece, and you need a system, because if you're just sending people to, and I did that for the whole first year. I did this. I didn't know any better. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone to ask. You're probably not getting the results that you want. And there's a lady that's jumped on here that's been on my lives a couple of times. She's got a nonprofit that supports women who are victims of domestic violence, and she's using social media to get exposure for that. Because there's a lot of women, I see a lot of videos coming up in my feed on TikTok of women who've been victims of domestic violence. And they're trying, there was one woman who she got on and she had the courage to share it. Her husband actually poured chemicals in her eyes. She lost her one eye. And the other eye, she said it's only by the grace of God she can see out of the other eye. She's had 5 surgeries. And he was abusing her. And actually, he was the one that took her to the hospital after he held her down and poured the chemicals in her eyes. But she was sharing her story. And I hope that she keeps going. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Legacy Building. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. She's got the courage to get on camera. And her eye, when I was looking at her, I kept looking at her eyes. There's something that looks weird about her eyes. And she lost the one. The other one, she said it's only by the grace of God that she can see out of that one. But she was sharing her story in hopes of helping somebody else. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Soap Perfection. Good morning, is it Joam? Good morning, Andrew. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. But she had the courage to get on TikTok and share her story. So, if you're missing these 4 and you're trying to do anything with social media, you've got a missing piece. Because if you're just sending people to a page where you're just getting their information, the program I'm involved with, it teaches you the correct way to use social media. There's a lot of people that don't know how to use social media, and you're spamming your links all over. Good morning, Esther. Good morning, user 7654. Good morning, Joe. If you're just spamming a link to a video or a website and you're putting it on somebody's video, their post, private messaging people with that, you're spamming people, and you don't want to do that. Good morning, Samuel. Good morning, Todd. Good morning, AI Creations. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Joe. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If that's what you're doing, good morning, Jonah. There's a lot of people that don't know how to use social media, and you're spamming your links all over the place. You don't want to do that. That doesn't work. And I know when people do that with me, whether it's this live stream, good morning, Connie. If somebody leaves a negative comment, they put a link to something on a piece of my content, they private message me with a link to something, I block them. I spend too much time on this, and that's not the kind of person I want. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, the organic BA. And I'm assuming you got something that's organic that your account's about. Not sure though. Good morning, Perfect. Is it Imper? Good morning, Mary. No, that's not that. Sorry. Good morning, Tony. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. I mean, how much time a day do you spend on social media? I spend in one of the hours, I spend a couple hours every day, but I have a business. And when I'm on social media, I'm making money. And in fact, TikTok pays me to do these live streams. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Tony. And I spent one of my hours that I spend is these live streams. I committed to do these every day for an hour, and actually, I've been doing these for over 3 months. Good morning, uh, Alima, if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Good morning. Ooh, it's another user number. If you set up an account on TikTok and you don't put a name or anything on it, TikTok automatically assigns you. It's just they do its user and a really long number. Um, Good morning, Red. Good morning, Dana. You want to, if you are using social media and it doesn't matter what the reason is for it, you want to set up your profile correctly because a lot of people aren't setting up their profiles correctly. If you don't put a name, TikTok's just going to assign you a user number. Good morning, Nita. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. If anybody wants to share, how much time a day do you spend on social media? I had a guy on my live stream the other day. He told me he spends 6 hours a day on social media. Most people don't want to answer this. I had another woman that got on. She said she spends way too much time on social media. Why not get paid for it? And 6 hours, if you're spending 6 hours or more a day on social media, that's a lot of time. And if you're not making money, it's not, if you're just on it scrolling, it's not very productive time. My time on social media is productive because I'm making money. Uh, yeah, and I'm on posting, I'm doing live streams like this, which I'm on for an hour, posting videos. I've been posting 3 videos, short videos a day on my TikTok account and my Instagram account. And that's how you get, if you're doing something on social media and trying to get exposure for it, if you're using a site like TikTok, you post short videos that are about whatever it is you're doing. And I know there's a woman that's come on my live. I haven't seen her in a while. She's got a nonprofit. It's a group that supports women who've been victims of domestic violence. So she's putting out content that's congruent with, things that women have been, victims of domestic violence that would help them, that they be interested in, because you want to be making sure you're putting content out that's congruent with what you're doing. Uh, and somebody else the other day asked me about a niche. I mean, you want to pick a niche, and the three biggest niches are the wealth niche, the make money online niche, the health niche, fitness and weight loss, and then the dating relationship niche. But doesn't all three of those niches they're evergreen, they're not overpopulated, they're not saturated. So if you're doing something that's falling in those three niches, you should be good. Okay. Good morning, Fish Pro. Good morning, Amelia. And you want to find something that's in those three niches because they are evergreen, they're not oversaturated. If you pick something else, like I've had a couple of people, they wanted to do something about mindset. Well, that doesn't really sell very well. That doesn't really fall in one of those three niches. Good morning, Thrive Life. Good morning, uh, something. I'm probably not saying that correctly. What do people call you? But you want to make sure you're in one of those three niches. If you did something like gardening, and if that's your thing, you probably want to do some research and see how much, how many, try to see how many pages or whatever platform you're using or about that. Because if it's not something people are interested in, good morning, Mina. If it's not something people are interested in, you're going to have a hard time. So if you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. Good morning, Sally. Nobody seems to want to share that. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, JD. Um, Most people don't seem to want to share why they're on social media. Or the other question I asked that I get very few people to answer is how much time a day do you spend on social media? And I do think it can be addicting. Good morning, JD. You say you're only going to get on for 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And then an hour goes by, and then it's 2 hours. Good morning, Zoe. Good morning. Is that well? Somebody's got my initials, and if that would be, I don't know, maybe your initials are the same as mine. Good morning, Redden. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If anybody wants to like my live, I'd appreciate it. read and just followed me, thank you. Michael's been liking the live. I believe he's an expert on liking live streams because he does it so much. But you want to make sure it's in one of those three niches because then if it'll get really hard if you're trying, and especially if you got something you're promoting, to get people to be interested in it. And the mindset personal development doesn't sell well anyway, and it's not really falling into one of those three niches. So you want to make sure that it's what you're doing is in one of those three niches. If it's not, do some research because you could be wasting your time. And go check out the platform you're on. I always suggest, and especially if you're new and you're trying to promote something, find 3 people, not 3, 10 people in your niche on the platform you're on, and follow them because you can learn from them. If somebody's got at least, like I'd say, 25,000 followers, they're probably worth following. If somebody's got a lot of followers, they know how to use the platform to get followers and viewers. Good morning, Beth. But find 10 people in your niche on the platform you're using. Good morning, Tracy. And I do believe a lot of you, and when I say, why are you on social media? Most people don't want to answer that. I do believe most people are on here because you're either looking for a way to make money from home or you've been trying and you're not getting the results that you want. I spent a whole year, good morning, Lexi, without a mentor. I didn't have training. I didn't have a proven system. Good morning, Jay. And I was just going over here on my whiteboard. If anybody wants to screenshot this, and actually I added 3 things you need to be successful online. I gave you 4 actually. I put mentors, a 4th one because I didn't have a mentor when I started. And I spent a whole year. I spent $3,000 in pay-per-click ads, and I bought a website. Whatever I paid for the website, I don't remember how much it was. And I did that for a year. I didn't make any money. There wasn't anybody to ask. Good morning, Natalie. You want to surround yourself with other people that are doing the same thing, that you can collaborate with, share, help each other out, and build a community, basically. Good morning, Praley, Bucky. Good morning, Lewis. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Good morning, Madcast23. What do people call you? If you are on my live stream on YouTube, if you don't comment, I can't see you, so I can't shout you out. TikTok does show me who's coming on, so I can shout people out. So if you don't comment on YouTube, I can't see you. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live again. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Tote Gift to Quit. What is your account about? What do people call you? And a lot of people, they're on, and no matter what you're using social media for, you want to learn how to use it correctly because there's a lot of people out there. They're just spamming people. They're taking a link to something. It could be a video. It could be a website. And spamming it and putting it on people's content. Good morning, Joel. Putting it on people's content, private messaging people with a link to something. And you don't want to do that. And I know when anybody does that to me, I immediately, they get blocked. I spend too much time on this to put content out for people just to be so whatever. Since no kid, and I'm probably not saying that right, but what do people call you? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I live on the East Coast of the United States. Good morning, Sadie. I get people on these live streams and my social media accounts from all over the world. Good morning, Kelly. Although I realized, there's different time things. Good morning, Joel. Thank you. You got a number 2 gift badger because it's about 10:30 a.m. I'm on Eastern Standard Time where I'm at. And depending on what part of the world you're on, I've had people get on from Nigeria, South Africa, the Philippines. I believe the Philippines is like 12 hours ahead of us. And Singapore is. So it's like 10:26 a.m. Eastern where I'm at. In Singapore right now, it's 10:26 p.m. I do business with a company that's based in Singapore. Good morning, Matthew. And actually the guy that owns it, he was from the United States. He moved to Singapore. I'm not sure why he did that, but good morning, Teresa. There are people literally from all over the world on social media every day, and the internet and social media, it never sleeps. Good morning. Is it Beeb? If I'm not saying that correctly. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. Good morning, Veronica. Love to know how much time a day do you spend on social media? Because there's a lot of people, I do think it can get addicting, spending a lot of time on social media every day. And when you're jumping on someone's live like mine, or and a lot of you, you jump on mine, you jump on other people's. You could be literally laying on your couch with your phone and you jump on someone's live. You could be on the toilet for all anybody knows. Good morning, Prolific. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Good morning, Abba. Good morning, Bull 1435. What do people call you? Good morning, Genthal. I'm not saying that correctly. Good morning, B. Where are you coming in from? Love to know why you're on social media. Good morning, Marie. People jump on and off these lives. I mean, you don't really have to do anything. There's no accountability. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. You jump on my live, then jump off and go on somebody else's live. You could be laying on your couch with your phone. You could be sitting on a toilet for all anybody knows. It's not like if you're doing what I'm doing and you're hosting a live, you have to be accountable. And that's why one of the reasons I think why people jump on live streams so much, because they see somebody going live, or, they might be, good morning, Marie, they may just be bored and they decide to jump on somebody's live. And you don't really have to do anything. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Jen. And I think that's one of the reasons why good morning, Hunter. Good morning, Stephen. Why so many people jump on and off people's lives. And I know when I've seen other people I know live streaming that I've done that too. I've jumped on their live. But yeah, you might learn something, but I'm using this. My time on social media is productive. And actually TikTok pays me to do these live streams, which is pretty cool. If you're just scrolling on social media, you're not making any money with it. And if you're spending a lot of time, like the guy I had the other day that got on my live stream, he was being honest and said he spends 6 hours a day on social media. I had another woman and she was being honest. She said she spends way too much time. She didn't say how much time, but the guy that's spending 6 hours a day, that's a lot of time. And if you're just scrolling, good morning, Christy. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning. Is it Kettle Corn Cook? What do people call you? Is that what your page is about? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I live on the East Coast of the United States. Good morning, Nina. I'm here every day. I live about 40 or 50 minutes outside the city of Philadelphia. I've been here every day live streaming on these for a couple of months. I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. That's why I'm on social media. And if you have a reason to be on social media, you're trying to get exposure for something, you can get in front of over 5 billion people on social media for free. Good morning, Kathy. I've had a woman that's jumped on my live stream. She has a nonprofit that supports women who have been victims of domestic violence, and she's using social media to get exposure. And if it's for that reason or whatever other reason, you want to learn how to use social media correctly, because you can get a ton of exposure if you know what you're doing. And there's a lot of people on social media, they're spamming people. Good morning, Nina. Good morning, Kathy. You don't want to take a link. Good morning, Rhonda. You don't want to take a link to anything, whether it's a video or a website, and spam it on somebody's content, their video or post. You don't want to private message people and just send them a link. If you do want to go approach people one by one and asking, it's prospecting that works, but you want to get their permission first. You want to ask the person if they'd be open to taking a look at what they're doing before you send them anything. I mean, if they say yes, good morning is a Fabe. If they say yes, then you can send them what you've got. If they say no, just thank them for their time and go on. That works. I promoted a network marketing company for a couple of years, and did that, and that works. Truthfully, I got burned out after I personally signed over 350 people. I was living in Messenger. I was using Facebook. Does work. You can do that using social media one by one, or if you want to do it offline and go to family and friends, but you're going one by one. And I did get burned out. There's no automation or leverage into that. And I prefer using automation and leverage. So you're not spending time and learning an attraction marketing strategy. So you don't have to go approach people and ask. Good morning, Marge. Good morning, user 6777. Good morning, Bernice. Good morning, Paul. Where are you coming in from? Love to know why you're on social media. And I did go over, and for those of you that just jumped on, I was giving out, and I have my whiteboard here, and I actually gave you 4. I say 3 things you need to be successful online, but I added a 4th. I didn't have any of these when I started. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have training. And I spent a year. If you don't have these, you want to get these, you can screenshot this if you want. If you want my free PDF, go to payudaily.com. It outlines this blueprint I'm using. It's a 2-hour workday. And you want to learn how to use social media correctly. We teach you how to use it correctly. If you don't have those things I was talking about, I did not have any of that the first year I started. In fact, I didn't know anyone. Um, I knew somehow people were making money on the internet. I think it was God telling me. I went to Google. I searched make money online. I bought a website, and I don't even remember how much the website was. And I set up pay-per-click ads. I did that for a year. I spent $3,000 in pay-per-click ads. I was sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do. You don't know what you don't know, and I didn't make any money. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Rosa. Good morning, Ann. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I spent a whole year doing that, and I knew I had to get around somebody who had done what I wanted to do, to learn from them. Success leaves clues. You want to model what's already proven to work. And I spent a whole year doing that, and I didn't have any of the things I was talking about. You need all of them. If you're using social media for something and you're just sending people to a page with information, you're missing pieces. Good morning, Deco. Good morning, Tanya. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. But if you don't have all of them, you want to send people to a capture page, a website, a landing page, a squeeze page. They're all the same thing. Get their email address. Good morning, Cabby. Good morning, user 2483. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Get their email address. Preferably, you want to give them away something for free. I have a free PDF. If you go to payudaily.com, that's my website. If you opt in, put your email address, you'll get an email from me with a link with the PDF that's yours to keep. You can click on the link, download it, save it to your computer. But preferably, you want to give people something free in exchange for their email. It could be a PDF, it could be an ebook, it could be a free webinar training. Good morning, Victoria. If you're promoting someone else's stuff and you don't have anything that you could give away, you could ask them if there's something you could use. If you do have a freebie you're giving out, you'll generate a lot more leads for one, and you're giving people something in exchange for their email address. You want to get them on your email list. You want to build an email list because you don't own your social media accounts. You can lose them at any time. And when I started, I didn't know any of this. I've lost 10 TikTok accounts. I had over 200,000 followers. I lost 3 Instagram accounts. Somebody hacked my main one, went shopping, ran ads, and then deleted it. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Astrid. Good morning, Boomer. Good morning, Big. Good morning, Colin. I had 2 other Instagram accounts. Instagram suspended those, and then they didn't rule in my favor. And I ended up staying off TikTok for quite a bit of time. And then last June, I started posting 3 videos on TikTok and 3 on my Instagram account. I'm close to 100,000 followers on TikTok now. I got monetized, so TikTok is paying me to do these live streams. I'm close to 100,000 followers on Instagram. I'd be monetized over there, but Instagram discontinued their program. They used to pay people for the views that you got in Reels. They discontinued that in 2023. Astrid just got a number 3 gift badger. If anybody, and thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate it. If anybody else wants to like my live, whether you're on my TikTok account or my YouTube channel, if you are on my YouTube live and you don't comment, I can't shout you out because I can't see you. TikTok does show me who's coming on. YouTube does not. I am live streaming on multiple platforms. I have software that lets me do that. And the cool thing about the software, when I'm done on YouTube, they automatically upload the recording of this to my account. Good morning, Craig. And that becomes a piece of content. TikTok only saves these for 30 days. And it looks to me like they don't save the whole recording as one thing. It's like different, pieces of it, which on YouTube, I can take this content, this recording of this whole thing and put it anywhere. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Craig. Where are you coming in from? Good morning, Ma. And if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I apologize. Let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. If anybody has any questions or there's something you're trying to figure out. Good morning, Mario. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I get people from all over the world on these live streams on my social media accounts. Good morning, FC Champion. Not sure what that means. Good morning. Is it Mingus? And I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. But let me know where you're coming in from. I've gotten people from Nigeria, South Africa, the Philippines, all over the world. Good morning, Jared. Good morning, Chris. People, you can get exposure like that on social media. And to all my accounts on social media, I get people from everywhere, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Germany, Sweden. I have a customer that she's from Sweden. So the exposure you can get. Good morning, D Dove. What do people call you? It's funny what people set up their accounts about. I mean, if you're new on social media and you've got something you're trying to promote, you want to set your account up about that. You want to put a good picture of yourself, because with all the fake accounts and AI, people want to know you're real. Good morning, Carl. Good morning. There's just a number there. Good morning, Metal 17. What do people call you? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I live on the East Coast of the United States. I'm about 40 or 50 minutes outside the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Good morning, user 7210. Good morning. Is it Marina? And then I'm not saying that correctly, so I apologize. But if you're jumping on, good morning, Randy. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let to know why you're on social media, how much time, if anybody wants to be honest today and answer, how much time a day do you spend on social media? I had a guy the other day that said he spends 6 hours a day on social media. I have a business and I use social media. I don't spend that much time on social media. I spend maybe about 3, because one of the hours I'm live streaming here on my TikTok and my YouTube channel. You can get this down if you learn a blueprint that I'm following to 2 hours a day. In the beginning, it may take you longer because if you've never done it before, you'll be slower. The more you do something, the better you get, the faster you get at it. Good morning, Taz. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I live on the East Coast of the United States. Love to know why you're on social media. How much time do you spend a day on social media? And good morning, Mickey. And nobody today has answered that. In fact, very few people want to say how much time they're spending on social media. I do believe it can be addicting. You could say you're only getting on for 15 minutes, and then the 15 minutes turns into 30, and then an hour, and then 2 hours. Good morning, Brian. I did have a guy the other day. He was being honest enough to say he spends 6 hours a day on social media. Good morning, Jose. And that's a lot of time on social media. I don't spend that much time and have a business. And when I'm on social media, I'm making money. In fact, YouTube pays me for these lives. You can get monetized on just about every platform. I would be monetized on Instagram too, but they took away their program. I've been monetized on YouTube. I'm trying to get that back, but they'll pay you for doing different things. Now, TikTok is constantly sending me stuff about doing videos about Halloween. That's not what my account's about. So I'm not going to put videos up about Halloween. I get people that contact me about brand deals. She wanted me to do 3 videos about her website. She wanted me to do a YouTube video, a TikTok video, and join their affiliate program and promote it. And she wanted to pay me like $90 for that. And that's not worth it. Especially YouTube, it can be, if you're doing long form video on YouTube, it takes a lot more time and effort to do a YouTube video. Good morning, user 5528. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. If anybody's got any questions, I went over today the 3 things you need to be successful online. And actually, I gave you 4. There were things when I started I didn't have. I spent a whole year. Good morning, Lenny. Good morning, Lolo Nanes. What do people call you? Good morning, Baba. Good morning. Is it prolific? It's funny because some people, good morning, Patrice. Good morning, Sheila. Some people don't want to say anything on social. They jump on these lives. They don't want to say anything. And when I ask people, good morning, Janie, when I say to people, well, how much time do you spend on social media? Good morning, Mary, a day. Most people don't want to answer that. I did have a guy the other day that was honest and said he spends 6 hours a day on social media. That's a lot of time. And that's not, if you're not doing something. Good morning, Lenny. Good morning, Janie. Janie, you just got a number 3 gift badger. And Lenny, you just got a number 3 gift badger. TikTok does give those out. YouTube does not. And I can see people, if anybody wants to like my video, my live stream, whether you're on my TikTok or my YouTube channel, that helps my accounts out. TikTok does show me that. And if you go to the top of the thing here, my profile, they do keep count. They don't keep counts of people who give gifts. Then there's a board there. It goes 1, 2, 3. It shows you um, who's done what, and TikTok keeps account of that. Good morning, Sandy, um, which is kind of cool. And they give the gift badgers out, and then you can give gifts and different things on TikTok. YouTube doesn't have that, and I love YouTube. I've been on YouTube for a really long time, since 2013. Each platform is different. They each have their own unique features. Good morning, Sandy. They each have their own unique features. Good morning, Birdie Reed. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. But I was going over the things, and I said 3 things, but I gave you 4 that you need to be successful online, because I know when I started this, and it was 14 years in September, I've been doing this. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any training. I didn't have a system, and I didn't make any money. I spent a year doing that and $3,000 in pay-per-click ads. Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Sterling Baxter. Good morning. Oh, it looks like it's just a symbol and I can't make it out. Good morning, Nisi. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If anybody wants to share with me, Lenny, what do you need help with? Drop a comment, drop a question. If I've done it, I can do a training on these. If it's not something I've done, I probably can give you a resource. Good morning, Adriel Akin. Good morning, is it Bana? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Lenny, if you have a question, drop it in the comments. You're saying you help me. What do you need help with? Yeah, and when I do ask that, I did have a guy the other day that was honest enough. When I said, how much time do you spend on social media? He says he spends 6 hours a day. That's a lot of time on social media. Good morning, Queen Sheba. I don't spend that much time and have a business. I've got mine down to about 3 hours. I spend one of those hours is I'm live streaming like this on my TikTok and my YouTube account, live streaming at the same time. I have software that allows me to do that. It's one live stream, and what's cool about the software on YouTube, when it's done, it uploads the whole recording of this to my YouTube channel, and it becomes a piece of content. Good morning, user 3209. Good morning, Nurse Mimi. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. And Lenny, you must have jumped off because you jumped back on. If you got a question, pop in the comments. You say, you help me. What do you need help with? And if I can help you with it, I'd be glad to do that. If I can't, I can probably give you a resource. Good morning, Nurse Mimi. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'm on social media because I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. September was my 14-year anniversary. I haven't worked a job in 9 years. And I lost my job. I couldn't find another one. It was the worst job market ever. People were getting 1,500 resumes for one position. Good morning, John. Good morning, Nancy. I couldn't find a job. I was broke, unemployed, in foreclosure. I was drowning in $250,000 of debt. I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this mess. And if it wasn't for this industry, I would still probably be in that mess. I still have my house. Good morning. Is it Zaka Videos? Good morning, JR. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If you've got a question, drop in the comments. And there was, Lenny, you had said you needed help with something, but you didn't tell me what you need help with. Good morning, Barbara. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If anybody wants to share how much time a day do you spend on social media, I do think it can be addicting. You could say you're only going to spend 10, 15 minutes. And then it turns into a half an hour, and then an hour, and then 2 hours and 3 hours. I had a guy the other day that told me he spends 6 hours a day on social media. That's a lot. You help because no walk. What does that mean, Lenny? You help because no walk. What you're telling me doesn't make sense. What do you need help with? You help because no walk. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. Good morning, Wisdom. Good morning, IC68. Good morning, Jose. Good morning, Missy. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Let them know why you're in social media. And Lenny, I do not know what you mean by you say you help because no walk. I don't know what that means. If you want to be a little clearer, and that's not making any sense to me. Good morning. Is it Melly May? Good morning, Sandy. If you're jumping on. Good morning, MCLN2. Yes, let's go. And I am on 2 platforms. So from looking over here, it's because somebody's leaving me a comment. I've got YouTube up on my MacBook Pro, and I got TikTok on my phone. I have software that allows me to live stream in multiple places. Good morning, DSG. Good morning, Jay. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. Good morning, Cindy. How much, if anybody wants to share, how much time a day do you spend on social media? I had a guy the other day that he told me he spends 6 hours a day. That's a lot. When I'm on, my time's productive. And I probably, if I timed out the total time, it's about 3 hours a day. And 1 hour that I spend is doing these doing these live streams every day. Good morning, user 3209. Good morning, John. I was sharing the 4 things you need to be successful in this industry. Actually, I said 3, but I gave you 4. I could probably make even a longer list, but if you don't have these 4 things, if you want to screenshot this, if you want my free PDF, go to my website, payudaily.com. That's a free PDF that you can keep. You'll get an email from me with a link in it with the PDF. You can download it and save it to your computer. That's yours to keep. Good morning, Daru. Good morning, SM Crew. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Sandy. That's a lot of time to spend on social media. And even with me having a business using social media, I average probably about 3 hours. One of those hours is this live stream. I post 3 videos every day on my TikTok account and my Instagram account. Good morning, Jay. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I've been doing this, actually, it was 14 years in September. I haven't worked a job in over 9 years. I've had days in this industry where I've made more money in a single day than I made in a whole month when I was still working a job. I started doing this after I lost my job. That was 14 years ago in August. I couldn't find another job. Good morning, FM Prince. Good morning, Plentiful Plumber. Good morning, Norm. Where are you coming in from? I couldn't find a job. Worst job market ever. People were getting 1,500 applications for one job. And I couldn't find one. I got 3 interviews in a year of looking for a job. And good morning, D. They were forcing you had to spend about 2 to 3 hours on one application. They were giving people tests to screen them out because on their end, if they're getting that many applications, somebody has to go through them. So they were giving you personality tests and stuff like that, and using that to eliminate people. Then you get an automated email that says, "Thanks for applying. If we're interested, we'll get back to you." And then you never hear anything. Good morning, Simona. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live. I really appreciate it. Michael gets the best live liker because he does it so much, and I appreciate that. If anybody else wants to like my live stream, whether you're on my YouTube channel or my TikTok account, that helps my accounts out. And TikTok does show me when people do that. YouTube does not. So whether you like it, I mean, I can see the likes after I'm done this. I can't see who liked it on YouTube. If you're on my YouTube live and you don't comment in the chat, I can't see you, so I can't shout you out. Good morning, Jokey. TikTok does show me who's coming on, and when somebody likes something, or they join, and I can see comments too. Good morning, Mama Z. I'm probably not saying that correctly. I apologize. Where are you coming in from? I live on the East Coast of the United States. I get people on these live streams from all over the world. I've had people from Singapore, or not Singapore, Philippines, Nigeria, South Africa, the United Kingdom, Sweden. I have a customer from Sweden. So this is global. Good morning, Mr. Nice Guy. That's another thing I would add to these things you need. You do need a product, but in high demand, but you want one that's global, because and there are some things in this industry that are restricted by where you live. I am involved in something like that, and I don't put it on my social media accounts because if it's not global, you're missing how many people from different parts of the world. Good morning, Tibza. Good morning, Mr. T. What do people call you? Love to know why you're on social media. How much time a day do you spend on social media? Anybody wants to share that? Most people don't. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Lisa. I did have a guy that was honest enough to admit that he spends 6 hours a day on social media. That's a lot of time. I mean, my time's productive because I'm making money. In fact, TikTok pays me to do these live streams. Good morning, Heather. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Good morning, Norm. If anybody has any questions or there's something you're trying to figure out. Now, Lenny has said a couple things, but what he's saying doesn't make any sense. If you're tell me exactly, what do you need help with? Your last comment just didn't make any both of them actually didn't make any sense to me. Thank you, Michael, for liking the live. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Trudy. Good morning, Mom, Bika, where you're coming in from. And people set up their accounts, with different names and stuff, or you're doing something and you're setting your account name in congruence with that. I branded myself. If you're doing what I'm doing, you want to brand yourself, you want to put your account in your name. Good morning, three something P. Good morning, Perry. You want to use your name. Good morning, user 3009. And I've seen people set up social media accounts. They use their first name. Good morning, Anita. But they, instead of using their real last name on their account, they'll put like the name of they're promoting a company, the name of the company. You never want to do that. You always want to brand yourself. People join people, not companies. So you don't want to do that. And I do see people doing that. I see people not putting any name on their social media accounts. TikTok just issues you a user number. It says user with a long number. You don't want to do that. You want to put your name. You want to put a good picture of yourself, because with all the fake accounts and AI and everything, people want to know you're real. And yeah, I use AI to create content, but I've cut over 5,000 videos. Now today, here's the jigsaw puzzle. TikTok sends that to me when I get past like 50 minutes. I have to do a puzzle, otherwise they're gonna block this. Good morning, FR News something. What do people call you? People set their accounts up. They don't put their name on it, and there's a lot of people they just get on. I think one of the reason people like these live streams. Good morning, Robin. There's no accountability. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to show your face. Good morning, Melody. It's not like if you're doing what I'm doing and you're hosting, you have to get on here, show your face, and talk the whole time. Good morning, Pam. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If you got a question, good morning, Frida. Drop in the comments. There's something you need help with, I'd be glad to try to help you. I could do a training on these. If it's something I haven't done, I don't think it's ethical to train or teach on stuff that I haven't done, but I can feel pretty sure I can give you a resource. I know a lot of things. I've met a lot of people. I've been doing this for a long time. Now I don't know everything, but I probably can give you a resource. Had a guy that wanted me to do a video about CPA marketing. I've never done CPA marketing. I know what it is. I've got an idea how it works, but I've never really made money with it. But I was able to give him a resource, because if you're trying to learn something, you want to get around somebody who's done it. And if it's something new, you're really going to have to invest time or money into learning it. And most of us, myself included, when we got into this industry, we have broke mindsets, people that are looking to do all free stuff. Free is the most expensive choice of all. I've personally spent over $100,000 to get around different people and learn from them. Good morning, Nukeman. Good morning, Join. That's all it says. There's no name there. What do people call you? But if you have something you're trying to figure out or a question, drop in the comments. I'm getting close to the hour here, so if you've got a question, drop it now. I have been here every day and will continue to do that. I was here yesterday. I'm here today. I will be here again tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm just sharing stuff. And over the years, I've been doing this, and I have spent over $100,000. But if you want to screenshot this, if you're using social media, and I actually ended up giving you 4 things instead of 3, but you need all these to be successful online. If you want my blueprint, go to payudaily.com. It's a free PDF with the blueprint I'm using. It's a 2-hour workday. You can get this down to 2 hours. Good morning, Jane. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. So if you've got a question, you want to drop it now, because I'm almost up at my hour. If you've got something you're trying to figure out, I'd be glad to do a training on it. Not today, because time's almost out. But if it's something I've done, I'd be glad to do a training. If I haven't done it, I don't think it's ethical to train or teach on stuff you haven't done, but I probably can give you a resource. Because if you're trying to learn something, you want to get around somebody who's done it. Success leaves clues. You want to model what's already proven to work. And I spent a whole year when I started this. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have training. I didn't have a system. And you need all this. I didn't make any money, and I spent $3,000 in pay-per-click ads. whatever I spent on the website, which I don't even remember how much I paid, but I didn't make any money. I was sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do. You don't know what you don't know. But it's very hard to do this and be successful trying to do this on your own. Good morning, Marviv. Good morning, Becky, where you're jumping in from. So if nobody has any questions, good morning, Mr. Wright, because I'm at my hour here. If you decide find a question after you get off, come back tomorrow. I'm here every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. I will be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate you guys getting on. I'll see you tomorrow.